It is my great pleasure to welcome you here tonight to the unveiling of the second annual ASDA'A Burson-Marsteller Arab Youth Survey. We extended the coverage of countries from 6 to 9 countries. We talked to 2,000 young Arab women and men. And we think this is today the largest study ever of the Arab world's largest demographic.
The impact of the financial crisis of 2009 really varied a great deal across the region, with young people in Egypt feeling it most acutely. In the middle range, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, whereas young people in the Gulf countries of Kuwait, Oman, and Qatar felt the impact far less. Only 3% of young people said they lost their jobs, however, as a result of the financial crisis, and half said neither they themselves nor their families nor any of their friends had lost their jobs. But they clearly did feel the impact, with 1/3 saying the financial crisis did affect their income and 1 in 4 saying it affected their ability to go out. 93% of young people in the region said that living in a democratic country was either very or somewhat important. That was followed pretty closely by almost a tie among the next 4 categories: good infrastructure, including water and safe roads and electricity, having access to the best of universities, being paid a fair wage, and living in a safe neighborhood. The bar that stands out by far the most is worry about the rising cost of living. Number 2 concern is a subset, I think, of that, and that is the shortage of affordable housing. Unemployment was the number 3 concern cited. The general outlook of Arab youth is strikingly optimistic. 2/3, as I said earlier, said that their country is moving in the right direction. Arab young people, according to this survey, are very tech-savvy and they're increasingly connected with the world. 4 in 5 of them report having mobile phones, and more than 1 in 4 of those phones are web-enabled. The majority of Arab young people have access to a laptop computer, that's 63% of them, and almost half say they have access to a desktop computer. We asked about the brands about which Arab youth felt most favorable, and what was striking to me about this is how worldly the young people of the Arab world are. Of the top 10 brands, Nokia was number 1, but of the top 10, you'll find a cross-section of the world. The top 10 include 3 European brands, 2 Arabic brands, Emirates and Aramex, 2 Japanese brands, and 3 American brands. We asked Arab youth what they like to do for fun. What do they like to do in their leisure time? Well, again, you'll see a big bar, and that's watching television. Potentially troubling for policymakers in this region, fewer than 1 in 5 of Arab youth spend time exercising. We asked Arab youth about how they spend their money. The leader was clothes, followed by mobile phones and eating out. 1 in 4 say that they have personal debt, with 52% of the young people in Saudi saying that they have debt. 46% overall saying they aspired to a government career, and 43% saying a private sector career, 10% stating no preference. Yet looking at the countries, again, you find big variances.
Keep in mind, in the Arab world, we have to create 50 to 100 million jobs in the next 10 years.
One of the biggest challenges we're facing today is the unemployment.
There's a clear role for government to provide the role of a regulator, the role of someone who provides basic services, the role of a referee to a very large extent, but ultimately to slowly create the right environment and the right infrastructure for the private sector to thrive.
We do have the highest population growth rate in the world, with almost 40% of the population now in our part of the world under the age of 15. So while other societies are aging populations, we have a lot of young people out there who can really give back to society. But at the same time, we also face challenges. Illiteracy remains around 30% on average in some Arab countries, and according to World Bank, UNDP, and Arab League, it climbs to 50 and 60% in some cases.
Whatever you do, whether you give the private sector more time or more money and more role, or you are looking for solutions for the government to more jobs for the young people, it will never last for a long time. We'll have a big crisis wherever you are in the Emirate with a fantastic budget, or if you go somewhere in Morocco where there is almost always a deficit, there's not enough money. The key to everything is education in this region. It is education and it's education.
A lot of the young Arabs answered that democracy was the answer, one of the first concerns, including housing, good infrastructure, education. But I believe that for them, democracy is a byword for accountability, meritocracy, because I feel that this is something that they're deprived of. But we should not keep looking for the government's role. My solution is the government needs to take its hand out of the entire story.
It's about the individual and themselves. If I want to talk about inspiration, I'm going to talk about our leaders to see if what can be done so quickly in our country gives you the motivation to try and achieve things for yourselves.
Another thing which should be on our agenda is to fight nepotism, which is translated as wasta. People, candidates, youth, regardless of their gender, regardless of their origin, should be given the appropriate job which actually matches their skills and interest based on merit.